رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. My brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Imam Hasan AS is named the leader of the youths of the paradise, along with his brother Imam Hussein. He was the first son and the child of Ahlul Bayt, and was revered for his wisdom. But we also see that his depiction is somewhat negative to both Muslims and non-Muslims alike. He's probably the most negatively misunderstood Imam of the whole Muslimin, of all the Imams of Ali Muhammad. His justice, bravery, and wisdom was not properly credited and known by many people. I have found that people used to say that both Imam Hasan and Muawiyah were both the leaders of restoring Islam. And I find that it's sad for our Imam to be compared to a person whose only goal was to gain power and to ultimately destroy the message of Islam. So let us explore some of the myths and misunderstandings that were negatively created for Imam Hasan and what we would say to them as a reply. Because I see in most Islamic communities that most youth know more about Imam Hussein than Imam Hasan. And we've been going through many majalis for Ashura and Arba'in and learning about Imam Hussein and Karbala and Ashura. But we don't really talk much about the great and noble life of Imam Hasan AS. Even me personally growing up, I did not know much about Imam Hasan's life, and I knew more about Imam Hussein's life. And that is unfortunate, because Imam Hussein himself used to look up to his brother Imam Hasan, because he was his elder brother. Some say that Imam Hussein was a brave man, but Imam Hasan was not. And that is completely wrong. Because the connection with Rasulullah and Imam Hasan was very, very close. Because when Imam Hussein was born, Rasulullah felt very sad and was in grief. But when Imam Hasan was born, Rasulullah felt very happy. He was very excited. They say that when Rasulullah went to Bibi Fatima's house to see the newborn baby, he was rushing with excitement. He was very happy. And when they asked Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, when they asked him what to name this newborn baby, what he said was very, very, very great. He said that, Imam Ali said, I am not worthy of naming this holy child. Rasulullah should be the one to name him. And then Rasulullah said, I am not worthy to name this holy child. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be the one to name him. You see how important Imam Hasan, just his name, how important it is. This is very important because whoever's name is named by Allah, everywhere he goes, he will always be under the protection of Allah. But Imam Hasan's imamat was not very easy. After the shahadat of his father, Imam Ali, he assumed the imamat. But he suffered from the propaganda and the tricks from the tyrant governor, Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Imam Hasan's army was very small at the time compared to the size of Muawiyah's soldiers and army. But Muawiyah sent a letter to Imam Hasan, and it read, O son of Ali, I want to make peace with you. Now Imam Hasan knew that he should never give in to tyranny, and to always fight tyranny and to never give up. But he also knew that not all battles are won with the sword. You probably heard the quote, the pen is mightier than the sword. And Imam Hussein proved that, and I will show you how. So Imam Hasan accepted the treaty, but he also stated his conditions for this peace. And I will explain to them all of these conditions. So the first condition was, Muawiyah will act according to the Quran and the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet, and he should not act by his means and desires. So with this condition written down, Imam Hasan wrote this condition to Muawiyah for the peace, which then that means that Muawiyah acted against the Quran and the Sunnah before. He didn't follow the Quran, nor the Prophet, and those are the two most key things in the whole of Islam. But then Muawiyah still wants to say that he deserves to be the rightful caliph. What kind of joke is that? Now the next condition is, Muawiyah will not nominate anyone after him. No heir, no one after him. But we all know he broke this condition because who did he nominate after him? Yazid. And now Yazid demanded bay'ah for Imam Hussein. So Muawiyah has already broke the peace treaty. But I'm not even done with the conditions yet. So the next condition is, any person, no matter the skin color, race, ethnicity, would be treated the same. But Muawiyah was very racist and very discriminatory. Whoever was a non-Arab living in, at that time, Arabia, was treated very badly by him and his government. Now the next condition is, the life, property, and the honor of the Shias of Imam Ali and their family will be respected and protected by the government. He broke this condition very badly. Not only did he treat the Shia of Amir al-Mu'mineen very badly, he killed them as well. Look at Malik Ashtar. He was the commander of Imam Ali's army during the Battle of Siffin, and he poisoned him. And he also chained Hajr ibn Adi and he killed him as well. And the last condition that Imam Hasan gave for the peace treaty was, Muawiyah will not take any open or secret plots against Imam Hasan or the Ahlul Bayt and terrorize them in any way. But Imam Hasan was poisoned by his own wife, who was tricked by Muawiyah. Muawiyah plotted against the Imam and martyred him. And now these are all the conditions that Imam Hasan gave for the peace treaty with Muawiyah. Now I just explained how Muawiyah broke every single one of them. But did you notice that none of these conditions pointed to Imam Hasan? I mean, that Imam Hasan stated his conditions for the peace treaty, but Muawiyah never stated his conditions for the peace treaty for Imam Hasan. For example, when Imam Hasan said, Muawiyah has to follow the Quran and the Sunnah, Muawiyah could have said, oh, Imam Hasan, you need to follow the Quran and the Sunnah. But he couldn't say that because he already does that. Muawiyah couldn't find one imperfection about Imam Hasan. He couldn't find one thing to tell him to say, you can do this for the peace treaty. And this proves that Imam Hasan was a great leader and a true Imam. This also proves that Imam Hasan won this battle, not with the sword, but with the ink of his pen. Please recite Salawat. Because he shamed Muawiyah for his actions, and he kept it in history for everyone to know. So inshallah, I hope we all learn more about the very great and noble life of Imam Hasan AS. And let us also pray for Jannat al-Baqi. Pray for where he is buried. He has no shrine, he has no roof under him. It has been demolished. So let us pray for Jannat al-Baqi, and let us make it, inshallah, be rebuilt, inshallah, in the future. By Muhammad wa ali Muhammad sallallahu.